Hey, boys. Old man Copper here. So I heard a short story today, a parable, if you will. And that parable got me thinking quite a bit. I was out on my walk and listened to some stuff on the YouTubes, and this parable came up, and I said, man, I really got to think about this, and I'd like to talk about it. So the parable goes, a man is brought into a hallway. In that hallway is 100 doors. Each door has something written on it, and each thing says something like, or not something, and they all the same. It's something different on every door, but there's something written on each door. One door says, true love. The next says immense power. The next door says enlightenment. The next door says wealth. The next one popularity, etc., etc., etc. I think you get the gist. And as he's looking at these doors, this voice comes down and says, "Sir, whatever door you choose a door. Whatever door you choose to walk through, that title on each door will be given to you in your life." And so he saw all you got to do is walk through the door, that voice says. And as you walk through that door, once you're all the way through, the door shuts behind you and you don't get choices anymore. So he says, okay, well, that's pretty neat, pretty good deal, right? And he goes, well, let me look at all the doors. And he takes a look around and looks at everything that's being offered to him. And he starts thinking to himself, well, if I take this one, I don't get that one. If I take that one, I don't get this one. And he spends the time. So I really got to sit and contemplate this, figure out the best thing is for me and what my future is going to be. So he sits, and hours turn to days, days turn to weeks, weeks turn to months, and months turn to years, and so on and so on. Well, he's there and he's still contemplating, and out of nowhere, this the voice comes back and says, "Sir, time's up. You haven't made a choice, and now you don't get to walk through any door." And he's like, "Hold on for a minute." He goes, I'll make the choice right now. I know that, I've been thinking about it, and I just, really had to stop and think." And the voice says, "No, it's done. You've made your decision." And he's like, "No, I haven't decided yet." And he's like, "No, you've decided." And that lack of decision is what your decision is. So I listened to that, and I actually talked to a friend of mine about this, and my buddy was like, "Yeah, man, I've heard that before." And maybe I've heard something like it, but not that exact story. And I thought that was pretty neat. So as I got to thinking about it, I took 4 lessons from that story. One, pretty obvious. The rest might not be. Let me get to those. So the first lesson that I took out of that is pretty obvious, which indecision is decision. You think that you have an opportunity to, or you think you find yourself safe when you don't decide. You think that you're going to be all right and keep yourself in this little bubble by not making the decision. But the fact of the matter is that indecision, or that decision to do nothing, is a decision. And that lack of decision is really going to jam you up in your life. And that lack of decision moves into the next lesson that I learned from it, which is time doesn't wait. Time is finite. In that time of indecision, you think you got time. And brothers, let me tell you, man, I'm 56 years old. I'm retired now, and I said this in the last video, man. I got more birthdays behind me than I do in front of me, and I've sat back and realized that there were times in my life when I just tried to play it safe. And now, in a blink of an eye, and a lot of you men that are not at my age, which I know I'm not old. I'm older, but men my age and above, you know what I'm talking about. You see the twilight, and then of course, older than me, you are in the twilight. Time is finite, boys. Whatever it is you want to do, make the decision to go do it because time is short. The next little lesson I learned was, life offers a lot of paths and you can't walk them all. So I know sometimes you can get stuck in indecision because, hey, do I want to zig or do I want to zag? Do I want to go over here and do that, or do I want to go over here and do this? And you sit there and you don't decide because you don't know which door to decide. You don't know which path you want to walk. Well, I know you get nervous and you start to worry that you pick a path and you're going to start going down this road, and maybe when you're down it a little bit, you don't want to be there. It's a risk you take. I said this in one of my other videos. My father says, uh, sometimes right, sometimes wrong, but never in doubt. And what he really means by that is he makes a decision and he lives with the consequences. And I've lived by that a lot. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect, boys. I've definitely tried to play it safe at times, but I've definitely also went and taken risks. And I have made right and wrong decisions, but I've lived by those decisions. The last little lesson that'll help you make that choice of the many paths that are being offered is when you do decide with the time that you have of the path that you want to take, it'll help find something meaningful. When I was a kid, and I was a big bodybuilder and lifter and everything, but then I started working in the fitness industry in my 20s. And I just found, as much as I loved lifting and all that stuff and the ladies and all that stuff, is good, man. But um, I had absolutely zero, it provided zero meaning for me. And I think I didn't tell you guys a story. I was working for a fitness company and I was doing fitness testing and training. And I started training or fitness testing firefighters. And me and those firefighters hit it off. And I was just like, holy moly, that's what I want to do. And it still took me, I was 28 when I found that out that I wanted to do that. And I still fiddle screwed around. I didn't get hired till I was 33. I went to the fire academy. I was 31, 32, somewhere in there, then got hired at 33. But I had time because I was still young. I made a decision when I finally did make the decision, but I made a decision. When I made the decision, I went for it. And I found something, I committed to something that I found meaningful. I would suggest you boys do the same. I even suggest this if you are in my shoes, you're retired early, or retired. Now is the time. Now is the time to find something meaningful. You've got some time left. Do it. It's also a good time if you're young, boys. Choose the thing that you want to do, the thing that you find meaningful, and go do it. Go for it. Ah, anyhow, boys, that was kind of what I found extra thought provoking for me today. And I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. So I am smoking my Savinelli Roma 673 KS rusticated. I've got some Samuel Gawith's Grousemore ribbon cut tobacco. What I like about this, well, let me tell you, I've got the Grousemore. It's some light Virginia, some bright Virginia. It's very light and very earthy, and it inspired me to pull out some Don Julio Anejo. I'm not going to say Añejo or whatever. I don't speak Spanish, boys. Don Julio Añejo tequila. And what I'm finding is the pairing between some light Virginias or light tobacco and some good aged tequila, both extremely earthy and really, really good together. And I'm really digging it. I also have some Old Man Copper Smoke Eater. There we go. Smoke Eater beard balm and mustache wax in. Dude, this stuff, smoky leather, little vanilla hint to it as well. It's freaking dynamite. And last but not least, what I've been carrying today, other than my gun, is this. It's called the Winkler Operator. So this is a very nice micarta camo handle. Dude, this thing is tits up, man. So I'm carrying this as well. This is one of my favorite knives. I love it. Anyhow, that's really it, boys. Appreciate you listening. And we will get with you next week, or actually live on Wednesday. And then from there, I'm out of town for a week, but I know I'm going to be posting, and I'll let you guys know whether or not the live's going to happen on the following Wednesday. I still haven't exactly considered what the content of the live is going to be on this Wednesday. I'm leaning towards, of course, I talk about the pipe and the bourbon I'm drinking, and then I talk about usually some sort of firefighter story, and then we get into something else. But perhaps it's really probably going to be something to do with this video today. Anyhow, thanks a lot, boys. Love y'all. See ya.